Morning, folks. This is a sample of Barbus classic shaving cream. I scooped out a little bit, got it in a bowl over here. Put that over there for a moment. Got it in a small, maybe a medium-sized wooden bowl there. It's pretty lightweight. You'd be surprised on how light that is. It's pretty amazing to me how light this is. But anyway, got it whipped up here with a Simpson brush, the Duke here, and Best Badger is what it says on the other side. It's got a number 3 there. But anyhow, as it goes for the scent, it's pleasant. I don't find it off-putting or anything quite like that. Excuse me. Got a frog this morning. You need to try to get rid of it. Smells pretty good, at least per my nose. And the aftershave, the sample that I got that I'm going to follow up with, this is Dermacol Poker Face. And I'm going to use this morning as for the aftershave. Blade of choice today is Gillette Silver Blue. And I have it, this would, like the previous video, I used the President, and it looks just like this, except for his rhodium, in other words, chrome looking, if you will, silver. And this one here is totally gold. And this makes this one here a Gillette Diplomat. Very much, so much. Matter of fact, the two of them, the President I have and this Diplomat, were made in the same year, just different quarters. And I'll have a link down below for some information on how you can date your Gillette, whatever it may be, and maybe even help identify what one you got. Because some of these look so close to being the same, but they're different. And anyway, it may help you out a lot when it comes to that sort of thing. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning. Go ahead and wet my face and get started with the pre-shave cube from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement. It's ever so slowly getting smaller, but this cube, it does last a good long moment. It is the upside of a pre-shave soap. Now I have some pre-shave oil that also lasts quite a while. It just depends on what works best for you, but this one here is mentholated, and for this time of the year, that's oh, how can you say, it's something my nose needs. With the wind here in Oklahoma has been whipping around quite a bit. Not that that's anything unusual. It's just that the speed, in other words, 30 and 40 miles per hour, off and on over the past, 2 weeks now, going into 3, has really stirred up a lot of stuff, and it just really affects my allergies, I guess you might say. My nose just gets to pitch in a fit. It's part of where the frog comes from, the drainage and everything else that I get when the weather's like this. But it goes from, I guess you might say, year to year. Some years are worse than others, and it's been a while since I've had one quite this bad where my nose has been giving me such fits. But you can see it lathered up pretty good. Didn't take very long. Most shaving creams don't. This one here didn't either. Falls right into that category. Excuse me. This brush came to me, by the way, of Stephen Sprague. Pretty nice that he sent it to me, because otherwise I didn't have a Simpson in my den. This one here works quite nice. Not the biggest, I guess you might say, fan or knowledgeable about badger knots, so I'm not too sure how can you say the difference in between them, because of the way I lather. I swirl in the bowl, a paint on the face, so as it goes for the tips of the knot, feel fine to me. But that has a lot to do with how I shave, how I lather, all that sort of thing, if you will. So it feels pretty good to me. From time to time you'll see videos and of various different items, and it does kind of pique the interest, and I guess you might say, what's the difference, or what folks are talking about different badger knots. For me, I have the only thing about a badger knot, and it was years ago. I picked up a inexpensive brush that was a badger knot, and it was just too floppy. It was, I mean, which is saying a lot. Consider I paint, but it really was. It was just too floppy. Guess you might say the knot wasn't dense enough, even for me as a painter and a swirler and a bowl. I just couldn't hardly use it. But sometimes, when you go with an inexpensive brush, sometimes that's what you get. Something that's not quite up to par. And that one there was just beyond my threshold of being able to use. You can kind of see, without a whole lot of effort, for me, at least for my standards, it does lather up pretty nice. Across the grain pass. I don't find the shave experience in between an aristocrat, a diplomat, a president along the same year, the production and whatnot. I don't find a different shave. To me, they all shade the same, but they do look, cosmetically somewhat different. The knurling I mentioned before, where what band may have it or may not, it just depends on the years. I think the aristocrat probably has the longest running history. That it's interesting to follow the changes over the years. I remember, I think the aristocrat started in the 30s. I don't think it was the 20s, but I think it was the 30s where it started. It could have been the 20s. It's a long-running history. How that name's been used and how things have changed over the years when it was in production. As it goes for efficiency, I could probably get by with the 2-pass shave if I varied the strokes and the angles just a bit. But for me, it's efficient enough for the kind of shave that I'm looking for. And it's not, the blade feel is there, but it's not, doesn't doesn't feel aggressive or anything quite like that. Just enough to let you know that it's there. A bit more than like a Gillette Tech. It's more than a Gillette Tech, and it might be similar to a Super Speed, perhaps. It's kind of a your mileage may vary kind of thing. What kind of blade you're using, what you're used to. But if you're interested in one of these styled shavers, Aristocrat will probably fit your budget quicker than a Diplomat or a President. Diplomat and Presidents can be quite expensive, especially if they're in great shape and come with the case and all that sort of thing. There is a horde more Aristocrats out there. There's a lot more. Easy to find. You can, in other words, if you're fairly diligent, you can probably pick one up for about the $40 range. In decent shape. There'll be some plating loss probably on the doors, in other words on the cap. A little bit of that going on. It might be some on the handle that might be missing, but overall, in other words, no pitting, nothing like that. The rest of it will be in great shape. In other words, a fantastic razor, a candidate for a replating. And that kind of makes it, I guess you might say, a little bit more valuable to buy. You start with shaving with it, figure out how it works for you. Painting solderers and accoutrements, alum block complete with rubber band. See if it falls in the category that you want to have replated. It most likely will, that or you decide that you'll use it just like it is. Like I say, a number of them I find, the plating loss is there. It's, you see the wear and tear on it, but overall condition is still very good shape. Great shavers, that's for sure. You might just send it in for a tune-up, if you will. Have it cleaned up and whatnot, put back together. any adjustments need to be made. To me, I think they're awesome shavers. No stinging this morning. Not that I expected any. These are great shavers. Once you learn the pressure, angles, and whatnot, oh yeah, these are definitely daily shavers. Kind of put yourself on automatic, if you will. I did give this a Poker Face a quick sniff this morning. I'm going to spray this in my hand because I know if I spray it on my face, I'm going to put it in my eye. I can't place the scent. In other words, I have smelled this before, similar, but I cannot place the scent of this Poker Face. Just can't quite put my finger on it. You know how some aftershaves, this one here will smell this way and this one here smells this way. They're kind of similar, but they are different. It's kind of one of those situations where it seems like it's a combination of scents that I've smelt before. It is pleasant. As goes for how it goes on the face, nice, cool. I think it may have just a little bit of menthol in it, maybe. That's what it kind of feels like on my face. It's definitely not over the top type menthol or anything quite like that. It's just enough to let you know that it might be there. Face feels pretty good this morning. Hope everybody's doing well today. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.